I walked along a cracked asphalt road as night fell, the streetlights flickering faintly above me tonight. My footsteps echoed through the empty town, each sound bouncing off darkened buildings that had no signs of life around. A cold wind swept through the alleyways, carrying the faint smell of damp concrete and decaying leaves around. I noticed broken windows reflecting the dim light, giving every abandoned house an almost watching presence nearby silently. The fog rolled in from the edges of the street, curling around the lampposts like slow-moving gray snakes. I paused when a distant door creaked open somewhere, though the street remained still and entirely empty of movement. Shadows stretched unnaturally across the walls, making every familiar shape feel unfamiliar and slightly threatening to me. I stepped into a narrow corridor between two buildings, the walls slick with condensation from the cold, silent night. The echo of my shoes sounded louder here, bouncing back at irregular intervals as though answering me in whispers. I felt my stomach tighten when a loose sign swayed above, scraping the wall with a metallic, uneven rhythm repeatedly. Ahead, I saw a flickering light from a single window, though no interior details were visible through grime. I approached slowly, noticing the uneven floorboards beneath me groaning softly, as if carrying hidden weight along them. A sudden draft extinguished the candle I carried, leaving only the pale moonlight slicing through the broken window glass. I realized I could hear my own breathing more clearly than any other noise surrounding me in the hallway. The walls began to feel closer, narrowing around me like the corridor wanted to trap me silently inside forever. A dripping sound came from somewhere above, slow and measured, echoing with unnatural precision in the empty space around. I noticed old furniture overturned in the corner, each piece casting long, misshapen shadows across the cracked, dusty floor. The air smelled of rust and old paper, filling my lungs with an uncomfortable heaviness that slowed my movement. I tried to ignore the feeling that I was being followed by something just beyond the edge of vision. Every step forward revealed more discarded objects, each with a shadow that seemed to twitch independently of the light. I turned a corner and found a staircase leading upward, its wooden steps worn, each one creaking under my weight carefully. The higher I climbed, the darker the space became, until the moonlight barely touched the edges of the floorboards. I could hear scratching above me, faint but deliberate, as if some unseen presence tested the ceiling over my head. The air grew colder with every step, chilling my skin and making the small hairs along my arms rise instinctively. I reached a landing where a single chair sat facing the wall, its back perfectly still, inviting me to notice. The room beyond had broken windows, letting the wind whistle through, carrying faint sounds I couldn't place clearly. I felt a sudden vertigo, as if the floor beneath me might shift at any moment and drop me away. A faint smell of smoke lingered, though I saw no fire, only the gray haze that crept along the corners. I noticed marks on the wall, dark streaks that seemed too deliberate to be the result of decay alone. The silence pressed against my ears, broken only by my heart beating too loudly in the tight, empty space around. I descended carefully into another corridor where scattered papers and shattered glass covered the floor in silence. The broken glass caught weak light, multiplying shadows across the walls until the room felt crowded and unstable. I paused near a doorway leading outside, where a streetlight barely illuminated wet asphalt through thick fog. The wind shifted suddenly, carrying a whisper-like sound that vanished the moment I tried to focus on it. I stepped into the mist, watching my shadow stretch unnaturally before dissolving completely into the fog ahead. The street bent strangely, making familiar distances feel wrong, as though the town itself had subtly changed. An abandoned car rested nearby, its dirty windows reflecting shapes that moved slightly when I was not looking. The fog thickened until the streetlights became dull halos, offering no comfort, only confusion and growing dread. I felt the pressure in my chest increase, each step forward making the silence feel heavier and closer. I realized the way behind me was gone, swallowed entirely by fog, leaving no trace of where I came from. I stopped walking, listening, aware that the quiet now felt intentional, like something was waiting patiently. The shadows around me shifted subtly, never forming shapes, yet never remaining completely still either. I understood then that I was not lost by accident, but guided here without ever being touched. The space around me felt smaller, though nothing moved, as if the darkness itself was leaning closer. I tried to turn back, but the street stretched endlessly forward, refusing to let distance behave normally. My heartbeat echoed too loudly, the only sound proving I still existed in this silent place. I realized escape was no longer possible because the place had already learned my presence. The fog pressed in gently, patiently, like it had all the time in the world. I stood still, knowing movement no longer mattered and that I was being quietly observed. I remained there, unseen, yet never alone, as the darkness slowly accepted me as part of itself.